Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Last week, I should have done this video last week, but I decided to wait a little bit to see if there's any more information coming out though. But last week, Sony State of Play was showcasing a bunch of upcoming games, even games that are coming out pretty soon, like Resident Evil and stuff like that. And there's one series in particular that I'm very excited for, and I'm glad that Konami is actually bringing back. There's actually a big section for Konami that they showcased, which I'm excited for. A lot of the games that are coming out there, but one series in particular, and if you didn't notice, from my screen name and for some of the decor, is Castlevania. It's the 40th anniversary for Castlevania, and they released a trailer for an upcoming game called Belmont's Curse, Castlevania Belmont's Curse, and it's supposed to be releasing this year, hopefully. Okay. With that being said, though, there's still a lot of speculation who the main character is, some gameplay elements. I mean, it was just a short teaser trailer for it. Okay. Is being made by two developers that worked on Dead Cells. If you don't know what Dead Cells is, it's an indie roguelike, 2D roguelike, and it's, if not, I still play it today. Is if not really fun. Okay, if you haven't tried it, go try it out and stuff. But the two developers are gonna be Evil Empire and Motion Twin. Okay, they're both working hand in hand together just to get this Castlevania's Belmont Curse, because they actually worked on a DLC for Dead Cells called Return to Castlevania. I have to think about it for a second, but Return to Castlevania. So, and that was probably, if not my favorite DLC. Okay, luckily Konami has been keeping the spirit of Castlevania alive with these what do you call it, people able to use the Castlevania license from, of course, Dead Cells with the Return to Castlevania, Vampire Survivors with its Castlevania DLC, V Rising as Castlevania DLC, even Dead by Daylight has Dracula as an enemy. Okay, so I mean they've been keeping it alive, but along with that though, they have been releasing the anniversary collection. They released the Advanced Collection and the Dominance Collection, just to bring back these old games from the handhelds. Well, from the Advanced and the Dominance, from the handhelds to modern platforms, along with bringing back the old stuff, like the from the NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis to modern times as well. So they even did um, what was it, the Requiem collection or something like that, which had Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, or Dracula X, the PSP one, together combined in one. So, and if you didn't have them, they're they're starting to become very going up in price. So, if you do find them out in the wild, I'll say pick them up and stuff. But a little bit besides that, though, I'm here to talk about Belmont's Curse. Okay, so with that being said, I want to talk to you more about this. This is the main page for Belmont's Curse. Okay, again, I'm very excited. I'm very happy to see that there's going to be a new entry since Lords of Shadows 2. I could be wrong, and I'm talking about a new entry, not the remasters or anything of that sort. A brand new entry that people can be excited for. So with that being said, though, whatchamacallit, we when I first saw the trailer, and we're gonna get down to that, we're gonna go down, this whole website. But when I first saw that, though, I'm thinking to myself, hey, maybe this is Sonia Belmont. And for those who don't know, Sonia Belmont is she's one of the few Belmonts in the whatchamacallit that didn't get enough traction. She got her own game in Castlevania Legends, but she is not canon to the main story, sadly. They kind of retconned her out of it, but this is, a simple website for, some of the history about it and everything of that sort, because she was supposed to get her standalone game, Resurrection, which was canceled, okay? So, but I did play the Castlevania Legends on the Game Boy before. But other than that, though, but this is Sonya Belmont, and if you notice, her hair is almost, if not similar, to what she's wearing with the braids and everything. So that's probably what came into mind for me is Sonya Belmont. Are we actually getting an actual canon storyline with her in it? Even though she was retconned out of it, back in the day when they actually made the full actual timeline and stuff. So, um, but yeah, so that's what I think. If you guys have any other opinions or anything about that, who this might be, well, like I said, there's tons of characters, but ultimately, it's hard to deny that this is probably going to be Sonya Belmont. So nothing has been confirmed yet, but if someone thinks any otherwise, then go ahead, because it could also be, which I highly doubt it though, but Trevor's girl, Sylvia, ah, can't pronounce her name right now. Silva Benalis, which I highly doubt it is because she does have the same hair color from the anime. Um, so you could probably think that too, but I highly doubt it. I think it's more Sonya Belmont. Okay, so continuing on though with it though, it's gonna be for PlayStation 5, Switch, Xbox Series X and X, and Steam. Okay. Supposedly it's set 23 years after Dracula's Curse, following the young Belmonts in an all-new 2D adventure title from Konami from Evil Empire and Twin Motion. Okay, again, two developers. Well, one's an advisory. Evil Empire is the actual developer, but I have actually good faith that this will be a good Castlevania. I'm hoping that is actually a great Castlevania, but I'm gonna say at least good from their track record with Dead Cells, and I think Evil Empire worked on another game, like a Prince of Persia game, I believe. I don't remember it. I didn't play it though, but I've heard good things about it. So, but I am confident that they did pick a good team to make a 2D Castlevania, in vein of being a Metroidvania. I'm hoping that it becomes a Metroidvania as well, because it's kind of a staple now at this point, But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't mind going back to the old styles as well. Personally, though, I do want a new 3D Castlevania, though, but I'm going to assume I'm going to be waiting for a while, and maybe all of you too, So this is the announcement trailer. I am going to, bring it up a little bit, and I'm going to pause it, showing some things here and there. So again, it is the 40th anniversary for Castlevania. 40 years. That's crazy. Make some of us feel old, really old, who have been with this franchise for a very long time.
Royal Majesty.
So again, Evil Empire developing the studio. They're going to be an advisory studio. And that's the thing. The artwork is a lot. The artwork is a lot like Dead Cells, and I like the art style for Dead Cells. So I'm happy that they're keeping that aesthetic alive with this. So ultimately, you're gonna get the whip. You're gonna have and it, to me, it also has a lot of Super Meat Boy vibes, where of course you got these massive pits of spikes, where you have to agile up. Which here I'm gonna show agile up to get to higher places or to dodge and weave in and out of danger. Use it for enemies. Like I said, this is why I think it's gonna be a Metroidvania. There's a map system, so save room, fast travel and stuff like that. I mean, it could be like a pseudo Metroidvania where it's broken off into sections, maybe. But I don't know if there's gonna be a big open world, big map the like say Symphony of Night, like a big castle for you, Wall jumping. Magic's gonna be involved. Like I said, it's gonna be very interesting to see what they are creatively gonna do with the game, especially with the equipment and stuff, And I want to say this, let's say with Alucard's whatchamacallit, his little the beast, his wolf form, his mist form, and his bat form. When you got the bat form, the double jump kind of made it was kind of pointless, But with those, I mean, they were incrementally. Dang, I can't speak right now. But they assisted the player. Like the double jump was the first thing you got, which helped you get to higher places. When you got the bat form, though, you were able to get to even higher places. So I'm interested to see like what powers and what equipment that what this main character is gonna use. Because again, I can't pronounce that she is actually Sonia Belmont until they actually officially say it yet. Okay. But it looks like there's gonna be a lot of danger. There's gonna be a lot of traps, a lot of agile movements. Again, it gives off that Celeste, Super Meat Boy vibes into it. There was actually a lot of danger stuff in what you call Death Cells, just like this. A lot of hidden secrets, boss fights. Medusa's back, Death's back. Like I said, I mean, Dracula's castle's back. So, and this is all taken, and by the looks of it, it's taken into the French, of like a French city or something like that. By the looks of it, um, that's where Castlevania dropped apparently. So Dracula's there in some type of French city, and this Belmont is gonna go in there and defeat him once again. So
So
again, I'm
now,
very
we
excited for
appeal
this.
to you, Trevor Belmont, last of House Belmont.
Like I said, I think this is gonna be very good. Again, I'm really excited to see this game. Like when I first saw the 40th, and I'm like, are we getting a new Castlevania? Or are we gonna get a collection for the 3D Castlevanias? Because honestly, I would like a 3D Legacy of Darkness, Castlevania 64, Lament of Innocence, and Curse of Darkness, all in one collection. You know, I will love it. I don't know about you guys though, but I want all three, in a collection. Now, if they want to get more greedy, they could remaster Castlevania, Lord of Shadow 1 and 2, which honestly, those two might need a remaster, because two's combat was good, but a lot of sections kind of sucked. Lords of Shadow was a very linear God of War style, but I actually still enjoyed it more than Lords of Shadow 2. But I'm getting off topic. So that's Belmont's Curse, the little teaser trailer they released and stuff. So again, oh okay, you are in Paris. Okay, I didn't read this fully then, but yeah, you're in Paris, and monsters are everywhere. So, and it says just the legendary whip, the vampire killer, Trevor Belmont's successor. They're not specifically naming this one yet. So, like I said, I am very interested on who this is gonna be. Okay. Again, I'm a big lore person, and when you retcon, like back in the day when they did take Sonia Belmont out of the timeline, and there was a gap in there for her, and she was kind of a lost Belmont until hopefully now. So again, we'll see. So again, you're saving Paris from the destruction of Dracula's creatures, satisfying whip action. It looks like you'll be able to use the whip in a variety of ways, from latching out the enemies, little things that you can see in the environment and stuff like that. Now, granted, one thing I don't like though is the glowing. Like I can understand them use this so you know where to go and stuff like that though, but a lot of things like have that yellow tape or the yellow paint to guide the player. I'd rather be able to explore myself and learn it myself. So that's the only thing I just don't like, is just a glowy lights everywhere. If you catch my drift, you know what I'm saying. I just don't want to be handheld. I want to learn. I want to learn the mechanics. If I don't see the little whatchamacallit, these, if it stops, if it could I'll go back. These yellow things, these purple things. If I don't see them, like that's my fault. But I shouldn't be having gigantic glowing ones out there. Again, that's just a pet peeve. You know, large selection of weapons abilities. Right now, we only saw the whip, we saw the cross, of course, magic. I think the sword as well. So there's probably gonna be a good variety of equipment and stuff like that. Again, I'm interested to see how the vampire killer is gonna be, especially if we're gonna get swords and maybe other items, maybe spears and stuff like that. So I'm curious on what type of equipment they're gonna be able to give us here. And again, they're gonna use a lot of environmental hazards, similar to Dead Cells or like Super Meat Boy, Celeste, and everything of that sort. So there's gonna be a lot of agile gameplay you have to do. So, and a new art style. Again, this feels like Dead Cell. To me, it feels like Dead Cell, and I love the art for Dead Cell. Dead Cell. So I'm glad that they're keeping that aesthetic. Again, too, I'm excited to see what type of music they're gonna put into it, because all the remastered tracks that they put into the Return for Castlevania. I keep messing that up. Return to Castlevania was they're all bangers. They're all great. You know, they knew how to make an epic soundtrack. You know, even some Vampire Survivors did the same thing. They remastered all the old tracks, and they are great. If you haven't listened to any of the soundtracks of Dead Cell or Vampire Survivors, go listen to them. You won't regret it. And beloved elements make a return. So foes, secret chambers, hidden items, whip through all this other stuff. So, like I said, we'll see what beloved elements that they're gonna put in. So, again, are they gonna put in? Is it gonna be a pseudo like contained level at the end, and maybe some different pathways here, or is it gonna be a full Metroidvania? And again, ratings pending and all this other stuff. So again, I'm excited. I'm happy as well to see Castlevania return and with a new entry, and Konami not giving up. And Konami really has a good redemption arc going on. With all the remasters, or not, I should say remasters, but re-releases of all their old games, from Contra to Castlevania, um, Silent Hill, so on and so forth. They're putting their big titles up front. So, and that's a good thing. So they're not giving up on the gaming. When back in the day when they said they were gonna do basically pachinko machines and other stuff besides gaming, like they were done with gaming. It was kind of a sad day. Konami's been with the gaming scene since like the 70s and 80s. During the NES era. And seeing them fall so hard back in the day was kind of disappointing. I grew up, you know, like most of my favorite series came from Konami, and one of them being Castlevania, another one being Metal Gear Solid. So it's good that they're getting back in the gaming scene. I don't know what you guys think about it and stuff though, but I'm for one personally happy. Okay. So with that being said though, so what do you guys think of Castlevania Belmont's Curse? Who do you think the new main character is gonna be? Are you happy that Konami's actually finally making games? There was a lot of things they showcased in the Sony State of Play. So we'll see what is to come. Soon here. So hopefully in 2026 we are able to play this. Okay. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below with what you guys think. So, all right, you guys have a good one.